Straight ahead on 12 News.
It hurts because where else we're going to go to get our groceries?
A longtime Robbinsdale grocery store closes its doors. Then, is Osseo becoming a bypass city? Some business owners fear it could be, how they hope to change that. But first, 2 Brooklyn Park men charged in a crime that authorities call an evil conspiracy. 12 News starts right now. The issue of prostitution reared its ugly head last February.
That's when a body was found in a car that had been towed away from a Brooklyn Park apartment complex. Investigators determined that the body found in the car was an 18-year-old St. Paul woman. She fell into prostitution before eventually getting killed. 23-year-old suspect is accused of beating her with a hammer at a Brooklyn Park home. And today, authorities raised more awareness about the sex trade.
Delane Cleveland met with Ramsey County authorities who announced a major sex trafficking bust. Delane joins us now with more.
Mike and Alex, the Ramsey County attorney says this sex trafficking ring took place over the span of 2 years and involved at least 10 victims, some as young as 15 years old. Police arrested a total of 5 people, and investigators say they used the website Backpage.com to find their customers.
To the defendants, the victims were a commodity. The criminal enterprise concocted by the defendants is a perfect example of modern-day human slavery.
According to the criminal complaint, Otis Washington and his brother Antonio Washington were arrested Monday at their home in Brooklyn Park. Police also arrested their uncles Calvin Washington and Robert Washington in St. Paul. All have been charged with various sex trafficking crimes. Investigators say the men would target women who were mentally slow and or vulnerable and recruit them into prostitution. They would then threaten or beat the women so they would succumb to their demands. The brothers used 8 email addresses, 30 phone numbers, and more than 100 different credit cards to place online ads for sex.
This is not just an urban issue. This is an issue that goes across the state of Minnesota, that our young girls and women are being victimized at an alarming rate. They're being trafficked, they're being raped, sexually assaulted.
The investigation was kickstarted in October when a woman sent an email to St. Paul police stating that her 15-year-old granddaughter had been targeted by a group of sex traffickers. Investigators also credit other women involved who were brave enough to come forward. Mike.
All right, Delane, thank you. In other news, if you are unemployed, you might have luck getting work in Brooklyn Park. Brooklyn Park added more than 2,700 jobs from 2010 through 2012, giving the city an 11.5% jump in jobs. The city saw the most growth in healthcare, manufacturing, and construction. And city officials say even though there weren't a lot of new buildings developed in that time, the number of jobs is the highest it has ever been in Brooklyn Park.
We've had a lot of people, look at vacant warehouse buildings and, repurpose them into manufacturing facilities, for example. So there's been tremendous job growth there, and I think that's what's accounting not just for the growth, but for the fact that we've had totals that are higher than they've ever been.
With CarMax coming in and the expansion of the Target campus, Brooklyn Park aims to be a leader in job growth for the next decade.
The state Senate is expected to vote on a budget bill this week that would give college students a break on tuition hikes, which have been the norm in recent years. A proposal in the Senate would give MnSCU schools a 7% increase in funding. The MnSCU system includes North Hennepin and Hennepin Tech. A state report shows that in 5 years, 70% of jobs will require some sort of post-secondary education. The Senate bill differs from the House version. The House bill would freeze MnSCU tuition rates for the next 2 years. Robbinsdale residents will have to drive a little bit farther to pick up groceries now.
Longtime grocery store Rainbow Foods closed its doors for the last time today. 12 News reporter Shannon Slatton shows us what shopping was like on the last day of business.
The shelves are already mostly empty here at the Rainbow Foods in Robbinsdale, and shoppers know it, as only a few people trickled inside to make that final purchase.
It's surprising because this store been here forever.
No last-minute rush here on the last day of business. The lot is bare and the shelves are too.
Pretty bare shelves. There isn't any milk left. That's what I came for.
Even though the closing has been in the works for weeks, today's sign on the door still surprised some shoppers.
It hurts because where else we're going to go to get our groceries?
When I work here, this is where we came for lunch, you know, breakfast, just walk out here and get something quickly, but now it's going away. It's kind of pretty sad.
Hands down, residents are disappointed and really want another grocery store.
Mayor Regan Murphy says it's disappointing to lose the only large grocery store in Robbinsdale.
Been a grocery store ever since I was a kid. I know a lot of residents are able to walk there and use the grocery store quite frequently, so it was a tough loss.
But Murphy says Robbinsdale could be attractive to other grocery stores. He points to the unique locally owned shops downtown as proof that the area can attract a loyal customer base. City leaders have already met with one grocery store owner to promote the city and its need for a grocery store.
It might not be in that location, it could be, but we're doing what we can as city leaders to reach out to grocery stores and let them know that we would like another one in Robbinsdale.
The store closes at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, and so far there's no word on exactly what this space will become. In Robbinsdale, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
In Osseo, there's concern a road construction project could end up being a road block for people trying to get to that city.
And this month, County Road 30 into Osseo was closed off at Highway 169 to build an $8 million overpass. Some in Osseo worry that could make it too easy to bypass the city entirely. There's a regular crowd gathered at Duffy's Bar in Osseo right now, but owner Martin Duffy is concerned his business and Main Street Osseo is becoming increasingly difficult to find.
I've had people come in here and say they were halfway to Champlin, so that means at least a percentage of them probably kept going, didn't turn around and come back.
This month, a roadblock in the form of an $8 million construction project at County Road 30 and Highway 169 shut down access into Osseo on the city's north side. That's led some drivers further up the road to Champlin before realizing they've bypassed Osseo.
There is no sign out there coming from the south that says Osseo, so that's something that should be dealt with.
Duffy and other business owners want MnDOT to place temporary signs now and more permanent ones later along Highway 169 that point the way to Osseo.
The concern that we have right now is that with the construction going on, people are getting turned around and don't know how to get into Osseo.
As president of the city's Economic Development Authority, Kevin Redman agrees more signage is necessary if Osseo's Main Street businesses are to remain in business. Redman says the construction of the Devil's Triangle area several years ago already made access into Osseo's south side more difficult, and there's limited signage on that side too.
The exit is actually labeled 85th and Botno Boulevard, and the only Osseo sign there is just a small sign just before the off-ramp.
The way Martin Duffy sees it, Osseo has a lot going for it. But right now, the city could really use a few signs to let other people know too.
Now it's time to move on it so people can find this town.
A MnDOT spokesperson tells us this is the first they've heard about the issue and they haven't gotten any official request for more signage. Coming up, the most popular place in Plymouth on this lousy weather day. And later in sports, a season preview of the Park Center High School baseball team. Plus,
we will talk to a St. Cloud State hockey player from Crystal who is in Pittsburgh preparing for the Frozen Four.
But first, it's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. It is indeed spring, but you wouldn't know it by the weather.
Now, some people say it feels more like February, and they are tired of it. Sonia Goen shows us why some people are saying enough already.
Listen, it doesn't sound like spring, and it doesn't look like it either. Normally, the Plymouth Creek Park would be packed with kids playing, but it's pretty empty. The baseball bleachers are bare, and the fields are muddy, and there's a slim chance of anyone using this skate park. It looks more like an ice skating rink, and the real ice skating rink is a no-go too. It's a soggy mess. Seems like the geese are the only ones enjoying today's weather.
Mother Nature really needs to check her calendar. It's windy, it's about 30 degrees, there's about 1.5 inches of snow on the ground, and we could get more. Some people say they've just had enough and they're taking it indoors.
Not happy about the weather today, but we're trying to make the most of it.
Kelly and her friend Lisa decided to walk inside the Plymouth Creek Fieldhouse, and they had plenty of company.
I can't believe it's April. We just got back from a trip, and we're pretending that the sky is full of sun and that the turf is actually grass. Well, because it's just too cold and windy, and we're so grateful to have this track.
We decided to come and see if we could play at the Dome today.
Yes.
Yes. Rachel and her son Jack thought they'd get to frolic on the inside playhouse, but their hopes were deflated.
I'm disappointed, especially with just the longer winter hanging on here. It would have been nice to have another option to go do something.
The popular attraction came down last week.
This has been a strange year, so we've got lots of people calling, asking for it, but it did end in March. So lots of disappointed kids because they can't play outside.
Local schools are also bringing their spring sports inside. Even a college lacrosse game will be played here.
We do have a University of Minnesota Duluth women's lacrosse. We'll have 2 games here on Monday.
And who could blame them for coming inside?
I'm an optimist, and I know spring will come, and come heck or high water, I'm planting flowers on Mother's Day, so.
But I'm angry.
In Plymouth, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The Plymouth Creek Fieldhouse Dome is expected to come down soon, and officials hope the rain and snow will go away because that could delay crews from removing the dome for the next season.
And if it's not the weather people are talking about, it's probably gas prices. Twin Cities gas prices are actually down 7 cents a gallon compared to a month ago and down 23 cents compared to a year ago. Market analysts say the lower prices are due to lower demand. Of course, who knows how long the downward trend will last. Coming up, something cool coming to a Robbinsdale school, the donation that will change the future of learning there.
But first in sports, a former Armstrong hockey star gets set for college hockey's Frozen Four with his St. Cloud State Huskies. You'll hear from him coming up next. A local hockey player is finding himself on a pretty big stage tomorrow night as they play for a national title from St. Cloud.
That's right, yeah. It's a big night for him and for his team. They have never gotten this far before. The puck drops on the semifinals of the NCAA men's hockey tournament Thursday in Pittsburgh. St. Cloud State University is in the Frozen Four for the first time in school history. Late last week, I caught up with Huskies forward and Crystal native Corey Thorson and asked him what the last couple of weeks has been like.
It's very surreal, you know. We were out in Toledo, we got a couple wins out there, and we beat Miami 4-1 to, you know, make it to the Frozen Four now, and it's hectic around here, but it's in a good way, you know. We've had 26 guys in that locker room right now that have worked their tails off all year long, and it's a great experience for us, and hopefully we can keep this train going.
Head to Thorson, wrist shot, score!
What does this mean to your program and to the St. Cloud State hockey community and to the city? For a program that has not had a lot of postseason success to get to the Frozen Four?
It's just an honor to be a part of it. It's such a great program. We have so many guys that used to play in the NHL and they still do now. We've had great coaches. We got Coach Motzko now who's, you know, kind of carried the ship in the right way these past few years. And it's, like I said, it's just an honor to be such a part of such a great community, a great university, and a great hockey team. And hopefully we can make some things happen in Pittsburgh.
Two Armstrong guys in the Frozen Four, Thomas Fallon of Yale in the Frozen Four as well. Have you had a chance to talk to him about that?
No, I haven't talked to him. You know, I've been seeing stuff on Twitter about it though, and you know, he's a great player. I mean, I could see him definitely in the Frozen Four, and I congratulate him. It's just nice having a couple guys represent Armstrong High School. It's such a great high school with many alumni, great coaches there. You know, and just to be part of a well tight-knit alumni group is a great honor.
Finally, your semifinal opponent Thursday night, Quinnipiac. What can you tell us about them?
You know, they're an old, rugged team that worked their tails off. It's going to be a tough test for us, but, you know, they have a goalie that's up for the Hobie Baker hat trick, and we got a Hobie Baker forward that's up for the hat trick as well. So it's going to be a well-fought hockey game, and hopefully we can prevail.
How do you like your chances this weekend?
Very good.
The Huskies and Bobcats face off in the second semifinal Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central Time in Pittsburgh. Tommy Fallon's Yale squad plays Massachusetts Lowell in the first game at 3:30 Central on Thursday. The Park Center baseball team has been very young the last few years, and that inexperience has showed. But the Pirates are hopeful this spring will be different. Park Center has a big junior class that has played in a lot of varsity games, and the group also played together last summer on Brooklyn Park's VFW baseball team, so they know how to work together.
We have a lot of experience together, and hopefully that will come back to us toward the season. And the kids that haven't played varsity yet, hopefully they can come up and show us what they can do and play the best they can.
Park Center is also hopeful because they were competitive in a lot of their games last season. The Pirates lost 9 games by 2 runs or less, and figuring out how to win some of those close games will be key in 2013.
We were competitive enough to be in those games, but it really
crushed us emotionally to lose some of those games. So we focus on just trying to close out a little bit better conditioning and make sure that when we get in those situations this year that we're the one coming out with that one-run victory versus the one-run loss.
It was emotionally draining, but it also gave us the confidence knowing that we can compete with any single team out there with as young of a roster that we have, and it just brightens it for the future knowing that we will be able to beat those teams this year and next year without question.
As of this taping of 12 News, Park Center's game against Blaine on Friday afternoon is still on. The Pirates' scheduled Thursday game with Andover has been rescheduled for May 8th. With our return to winter-like weather, at least one spring sport is business as usual. Adapted softball teams are getting their season started in the gym, of course. A good turnout for the Robbinsdale Hopkins Mound Robbins CI team this spring. After Anoka Hennepin goes up 5-0, Robbins' Jeremy Nowling tags a hit to left field. Keenan Myers scores. Robbins matched the Mustangs by scoring the maximum 5 in the first inning. In the second, Jake Thoppins drives to the deepest part of the field in center field for the Robins. Nowling scores, followed by Cedric Dorman, and Thoppins circles the bases. It's 10-5 Robins after 2 innings of play. About Anoka Hennepin keeps scoring consistently in the middle of the game. Troy Couch smacks a hit to right center to bring Jeff Sjogren in to score in the 4th inning. The Mustangs go up 15-11. In the 5th, Ryan Boggs delivers for Anoka Hennepin. His hit scores Rachel Palm. Boggs winds up on second base. Anoka Hennepin wins 21-16 to improve to 1-1. The Robins lose a close one in their season opener. And that is a look at sports for today.
All right, thanks, John. Still ahead, an evolving classroom gets in touch with the future.
The grant that will change learning at Robbinsdale Middle School when we come back.
Students at Robbinsdale Middle School will soon be learning with the swipe of a finger thanks to a hefty grant.
Cargill presented a check for $10,000 to the school's STEM program. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And RMS will use the money next year to buy a mobile learning lab, which includes 20 Apple iPads.
We tell the kids every day, be excited for learning, be on time for learning, and always excited to be there. And so, if they have a brand new cart of iPads coming in their classroom, they're going to go to that class and be excited to learn.
The school will be responsible for purchasing apps for the tablets, but that is a pretty neat gift.
Is. Yeah. Swipe away.
That's right. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.